Vanguard had its mid-season update yesterday. Update 1.10 went out for all, and we've already covered what was publicly stated about the game's update and what the patch notes detailed, but playing quite a bit yesterday trying to gain some final ground on my atomic camo grind before I leave for vacation, I noticed a few things that were changed as of yesterday's update that weren't quite mentioned in the patch notes, and that brings us back to the old adage here that we've talked about on the channel. Is it really a COD update if there is no hidden, stealth, or secret changes? Today we're going to be breaking down a handful of these that you may find interesting and let you know what else really changed. As we go along, leave your thoughts down below. Do you like some of these changes that maybe went under the radar? Do you wish they were communicated? And have you found anything else that you could add to this list? Whatever the case, drop your thoughts down below. But if you enjoyed the video, do me a favor, drop a like on the video, and if you're new to the channel, do be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay updated with all things Vanguard, Warzone, and anything COD related. We're looking to hit 500,000 subscribers this year, so if you're part of that nearly 70% of viewers who are not subscribed and you'd like to join us on that journey while staying up to date with everything Call of Duty, I'd love to have you. That said, let's jump into it. So with the mid-season update for Vanguard, update 1.10, we got a handful of changes that I think were pretty positive, but also some things that seemingly were inadvertent changes, some things that may be bugged out for you, which seems to happen every single update. But outside of that, there are about a handful of other secret changes that I ended up finding myself here. The first one that I want to talk about is one that is incredibly interesting to me and has some future implications here, but it's something we've talked about that I'm kind of surprised we didn't have already. That being an inspect animation here within Vanguard, and for Vanguard weaponry, also included then within Warzone. So this seems to be something that is coming in the near future. It was data mined a couple of weeks back, but it was something that had a little bit of an asterisk, which we'll talk about in just a second. But if you go into PC or you plug in a mouse and keyboard to console, you can end up going over to the mouse and keyboard settings, and you'll end up seeing that there are keybinds for the weapon inspection. That's something that isn't available on any of your controller settings or anything like that, only found within the PC or the mouse and keyboard settings with keybinds. Now, curiously enough, this is implemented here where it shows up in game, but it doesn't actually let you do it in game. If you go in and you play mouse and keyboard and you jump into a private match or something like that, and you try and use that default keybind of I, it doesn't let you do anything. It just kind of sits there like, what are you doing? You're wasting your time here, bud. But to me, this is interesting because it could be an indication of this fully coming, or as rumored a couple of weeks ago, like we talked about, that was data mined. Right now, it seemed like in the game files, there was only inspect animations for mastercrafts. Hopefully that's not the case, and as we've talked about before, it'd be very surprising if it is, given that weapon customization is such a key focal point now of Call of Duty games in the last couple of years. It'd be very surprising to me that we don't have an inspect animation for all weapons, but right now the future is uncertain. As for when it could release, could be Season 2, could be Season 2.5, we just don't know, but it looks to be coming in some capacity. Now, outside of that, things that look to be coming actually were previewed a little bit earlier than they should have. This being a handful of different blueprints that you can expect to see, likely through the shop, unfortunately. Probably not many through like events or challenges or anything like that, but same with what we saw with the Season 1 update. We ended up getting a look at basically all of the other blueprints that were added in with the mid-season update that aren't quite live just yet. There are a lot of cool ones here, admittedly. I might end up picking up some of these myself. Have not touched anything in Vanguard just yet because nothing really has interested me outside of what we've seen so far, but some of these do look to change that. But I ended up noticing some things like the STG Tiger, the Itra Gilded Dragon, the elusive NZ41, the Bar Bear, the Volk Expedition, the Automaton Red Laser, the M1928 Gangster, the Type 100 Reaper, the MP40 Rune, the Double Barrel Melon, the DP42 Purple Addict and Fortified, the Type 99 Lion Weight, and the Fighting Knife Ultra Hard Steel. Now, strangely, while so many of these are showing, I actually don't think this is the full list of everything that we'll see here coming before the next update of some sort. For me, in my armory, unless I'm blind, there was no Historia blueprint from the Attack on Titan bundle, despite the Volk and the Melee blueprints being there and visible right now. In that same vein, also though, anything that is included with some of these bundles that is partially live, i.e. you can preview them, but you can't actually get them in game, you can also get a sense of other things that come along with it. The thing that I think probably would be the most relevant to a lot of people is that Attack on Titan bundle. You can see things like that Steel Cut Execution, which is live to preview now. So if those customization things interest you, you might have a decent number of things to look at that you didn't beforehand. Now, outside of that, we talked about how Season 1 did a lot of fixing. A lot of it primarily dealing with atomic camos. That's the big one that's really highlighted here with this update. But also, for those that like to be completionists, for those that were grinding out your seasonal challenges, it seems like that this should have now started to award players that completed all 20 seasonal challenges for the season here in MP. Now, from what I've heard, that doesn't necessarily reflect with the zombie side of things, unfortunately, but we're getting there slowly but surely. Obviously, we got to get this fixed before Season 1 ends up being completed, so that's something that hopefully gets fixed out here soon, but also it could be retroactive. I mean, if you get 100% completion out of that, it is just a matter of dropping that loot into your account pool, essentially. But finally seeing those challenges, credit to the 100% calling card. Definitely a nice change here that I think went under the radar, and one you may or may not have even noticed yourself if you completed all these. Now, outside of that, another thing that was corrected here, it looks like if you jump into a game, or at least from what I experienced, it seems like ranks now should be displaying properly inside each game. Now, beforehand, it was something that seemed to only show the prestige level that you were at, i.e. prestige 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way up to 7 here with Season 1. Later on with Season 2, 3, 4, and 5, obviously those prestige numbers will get higher, but it was something that only showcased the prestige that that player was on the scoreboard. After yesterday's update, I was noticing that I was seeing people in-game, not necessarily just in the menus, but also in-game seeing their actual levels, whether that be level 50, 100, all the way up to like 857, 999. It even looks like they finally actually changed it so that it's fixed. You can see level 1000 now instead of just 999 and locked at that. So that's something that is, again, a smaller change here, but something that may be a nice one for those grinders. I mean, you're grinding the game out. You want to showcase how much you put in and how high you've gotten in those ranks. It's nice we can finally see that now. Another change is, unfortunately, I think kind of a bad one. If you guys remember War from World War II, you had that "a bomb's been planted on our ammo supply" screaming in your ear. Kind of the same thing here in regards to audio being bugged out, but any fire, incendiaries, Molotovs, if you're close to it, it is way louder than it was beforehand. It's just kind of overbearing in the audio mix whenever you're near that. So that's something that's kind of annoying here, and if you're somebody that's trying to hear the surroundings around you, you're not really going to have a great opportunity of that. You may have noticed that, but it's definitely something that I hope is changed here in the near future. And then finally, the last thing that I noticed that was kind of a quirky one here, I don't think this was meant to happen, was if you end up going up to doors, you may notice that there's a lot of gun icons around these whenever you do. And it seems like for the most part, most doors, the interact feature, have now a gun icon tethered to it instead of just this button. But an interesting and weird change here, no less, but a change that I ended up seeing quite a bit. But that said, that's some secret changes that I noticed. Again, if you guys have anything you'd like to add, feel free to let me know down in the comments. But before we wrap everything up, I want to take some time to talk to you guys about my friends over at Gamer Advantage. If you're like me, you're working at your computer all day, especially these last couple of days, man. I've been at my workstation for like 12, 14, 16 hours at a time here trying to get all these videos ready for whenever I'm going on vacation. But if you're like me, staring at a monitor, gaming on your phone, whatever the case, you may feel the effects of blue light. Now, for those that are unaware, that's been linked commonly to things like eye strain, changes in your sleeping patterns, and other irritations, all the way to the more large-scale effects like blurry vision and deterioration of your vision over time. Obviously, we all want to avoid that. Vision's a beautiful thing, and Gamer Advantage does a phenomenal job at protecting your eyes. They are, without a doubt in my mind, the best blue light glasses company on the market. I've used cheap pairs off Amazon before thinking they were good enough, but let's be real, man. If you're investing in something as important as your vision health, just okay shouldn't be what you're striving for. With the most comfortable, durable, and lightweight frames on the market, and the ability to be prescription ready while your insurance can cover that cost, I promise you'll be satisfied with these if you give them a try. I've used my pairs for over a year now, and not once have I second-guessed anything. In fact, when I have my clear framed pairs on, I sometimes even forget they're on my face. They're that minimally invasive. So if you guys are at all interested in learning more, check out the link in the description below, and if you'd like to pick something up, use code Espresso to net yourself 10% off your entire order. That said, that's where we're gonna wrap the video up. Thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to drop a like down below, and of course, if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing running all things Vanguard, Warzone, and anything Call of Duty related. We got you covered with all of it, so if you guys are interested, I'd love to have you in the community. That said, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care, and peace.